Gross national product is projected at 3% or better through the end of the year. Our economy grew at 4.6%, which is the fastest pace since the fourth quarter of 2011. While we saw a disappointing jobs report in August, we're hoping for better results when the September numbers come out. Jobs have increased from 12,500 per week to 15,000 per week, and our unemployment rate has declined from 7% last year to 6% this year. And as always, manufacturers remain upbeat and optimistic. I know that you follow our political landscape pretty closely, but in general, let me just say that there's still quite a bit of uncertainty, a lot of frustration, some disillusionment, and the gridlock is prevalent throughout all levels of government here in the U.S. I will say that there's no more talk of the fiscal cliff, and perhaps that gridlock has led to a little bit more stability in our government. We are anticipating changes in the upcoming fall elections. As for PMI, we're in the first full year of our streamlined governance model. It's been a success. We've reduced the size of our board from 11 members to 8. We've shortened board terms from 3 years to 2. And we have a new protocol for vetting board candidates. To become a board member, you must now apply, go through a series of interviews, and have a signature from your upper management which indicates the commitment both on the individual's part as well as the company's part for the time commitment needed to be an effective board member. And starting in 2015, we will go to a single annual conference, just like the BMA. Also like BMA this year, we've expanded our sponsorships to include a miniature trade show. It's a sellout. Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, so thanks again, Yvonne and the BMA, for that great idea. We've recognized that communication is as an important element as our technical expertise. We are sometimes overlooked by policymakers when drafting legislation. The result of uninformed legislation negatively impacts our industry and impacts the public good through unintended consequences. Our goal for 2015 and moving forward is to improve our visibility, awareness, and energize our messaging to position ourselves as the reliable resource that we are. Often forgotten but most important is that plumbing plays a key role in the name of consumer health and safety. Lower is not automatically better. Flow rates must be sufficient enough to enable the products to do their job. Health and safety is job number one. We also encourage policymakers to look at the entire system. It's not just about the endpoint devices. Consumers and infrastructure play a very key role, whether it's water efficiency or the cleanliness and safety of water content. PMI should always be considered when legislation is being considered. Having said that, our communications strategy for next year will be to enhance our outreach in a proactive way, to focus less on science and more on emotion. And to help us do that, we will employ the use of a public relations agency that will be named later this month. Among our proactive outreach programs includes an exercise which I named How Low Can We Go and How Do We Know? We are collecting information on the unintended consequences of ever reducing lower flow rates and messaging that to policymakers with a caution, as I said earlier, that lower is not always better. We know that replacements are the key to water efficiency. Only 5% of our market has migrated to the voluntary WaterSense level programs. We need to find a way to energize our consumer base to replace those outdated, inefficient products. We understand that replacements would result in a savings of 3 billion gallons of water a day here in the United States. So that's not to be overlooked. It really is a key to water efficiency. We've issued a number of documents that are available on our website, including a myths versus reality document and a history of plumbing timeline, which highlights many of the important advances of the plumbing industry to our civilization. And speaking of websites, we launched our new website today, in fact. I'd encourage you to check it out. You can get there either through the traditional pmihome.org URL or through safeplumbing.org. The home site and the microsite have now been merged in order to make a stronger link between PMI as an association and the good information that resides on Safe Plumbing that we've put there in the name of offering truth and taking away some of the confusion about our industry. The Safe Plumbing site was originated for policymakers, journalists, and consumers as a way to dispel some of the many misunderstandings about our industry. We have a number of things on our radar screen, including our national lead law, which went into effect January of this year. PMI wrote and promoted that law as a way to harmonize requirements across the United States. We're also watching hexavalent chrome and the increasing pressure on water efficiency, as I mentioned earlier, as in the state of California. We're in the second phase of our drainline carry research, and a new item on the radar is the notion of aging water. When lower flow rates are imposed, water has a longer dwell time in the reservoirs, and studies have shown an increase in Legionella and bacteria growth in that aging water. Alliances and partnerships remain very important. For the third time this year, I was a co-founder of a group called the Plumbing Industry Leadership Coalition, which brings together 14 related associations with the idea of stronger is better. Numbers help increase the effectiveness of our messaging. Of course, the BMA remains a very important partner, and we do look to continue to build on and strengthen that relationship as we go forward. We have a number of publications that are available, both to members and non-members. The Ripple Effect is our newsletter, which comes out monthly, and you may sign up on our website if you're interested in receiving that. We're happy to have you do that. We have a number of members-only publications, including Inside My PMI, which is a bi-weekly electronic newsletter, a CEO highlight report, which on a quarterly basis highlights the effectiveness and achievements of PMI and its members. We have weekly conference calls on the topic areas of technical expertise, advocacy and outreach, and our lobbying efforts. As you may know, our conference is coming up in just a few weeks. We'll be Setting the Pace for Change, October 27th through the 30th in Chicago. Next year, as we move to our single annual conference, that meeting will be held in San Antonio, Texas. For the Chicago conference, we're delighted to have a panel of 7 CEOs from our member companies. These executives will comment on issues that keep them awake at night and will be moderated by a well-known Chicago media personality. Kohler, Moen, Delta, Bradley, Toto, Simmons, TNS Brass will be included on that panel. We're also very happy to have both Yvonne and Chris as presenters in our conference. So thank you very much, BMA, for participating in such an important way in our conference. Rounding out the panel rounding out the list of speakers are environmentalists, globalization consultants, economists, and government officials. So that's my report. Thank you for including me. And here's to an ongoing successful partnership between PMI and BMA. Have a great conference. Thanks so much.